PowerTalk Productions presents Dr. B, the ultimate legacy builder. PowerTalk is a movement, not just a show. Join us to explore life's challenges, share success stories, and uncover profit secrets from top experts and innovators. Get inspired, gain confidence, and elevate your business and life. Dare to be you and step into your greatness with PowerTalk. Thanks for connecting with Dr. B. Let's create a lasting legacy together.
This is Power Talk radio show in Spanish es Facturando tu Historia on Radio Metroplex. We are in the city of Arlington, Texas, which is the capital of sports. So delighted to be here every Friday at 5 p.m. Central. And I always have amazing guests. And today I have an amazing friend and guest. Yay!
Yay! Hola! It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm excited to have this conversation specifically for women leaders.
Absolutely.
And you and I have a passion for moving women forward, and that's my passion. And
exactly.
Let's have a conversation.
And I'm so glad you said yes, because we met back maybe a couple of years ago. I don't know exactly when.
When do I name?
Was it with Regne?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was with Daniel in San Antonio.
It's even further back than that.
Oh my goodness! So we were in Women Worldwide Empowerment, something like that, right? Yeah. So Regne, an amazing lady. So wow,
that's
you see, people connect people.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's the power of connections and networking. And there's a saying: if you're not networking, you are not working.
Right, because your net worth is equal to your network, right? So I think what you and I have learned is that at the end of the day, it's all about relationships.
It is. It's building relationships and it's the connections that we build and the trust that we build with each other. So the show is always about telling your stories. Like, what in your life have you experienced? Because I know you're experiencing something now, but I want to take you way back, further down in the road, where something impacted you to do what you're doing today. So, because I love to tell people, a lot of people see us and they see success, but they don't know the things we go through on a daily basis. They don't know the things that we've gone through. So the show is about inspiring, motivating, and giving people confidence so that they can step into their inner power.
Absolutely.
And then they go do whatever they need to do. So tell us your story. First, tell us who you are, the name of your company, and then your story.
So I'm Alva-Kraker, and I am a native of Texas. I live up the street from here in Fort Worth. And the name of my company is Majestic Coaching Group. And I work with women entrepreneurs and women in corporate who want to become mindful leaders and experience more balance and happiness in their lives. And my story starts back in, I would say in the 1980s when I started working for IBM. And IBM in the 80s was male dominated. There were very few women and even fewer Latinas in the corporate circle. So as I began my career, what I started to notice is that the men were the ones that were getting the promotions, were getting the awards, the recognitions. And I just saw a lot of women being bypassed that had some amazing talent. And frankly, I just got mad over it. I said, this is unacceptable to have such talent and not be promoting women and having contribute in a bigger way. So what I started doing is I started gathering women that were around me, and I said, well, what do you want to do? What are your aspirations? Do you want to go into management? Are there some awards that you want to go for? And how can I help you get there? So I began to mentor women way back in 1980 because I just got disappointed. And basically, I said, how do I get women at the table? How do I get them at the table? And so I started coaching. And I've been coaching women in IT for over 30 years in getting them ready for jobs, becoming strong leaders and leaving corporate and starting their own business. So it was through seeing how we weren't having a seat at the table and taking responsibility for how can I impact that and get more women in management, getting them seen and heard. And here I am, almost 40 years later, still doing that, still doing that. And over time, I began to develop my own programs. I began to myself living and leading through intention, and started teaching women how to live through intention and how to become mindful leaders. And since then, I have been that is my subject matter expertise, is mindful leadership.
Wow,
So
that's really wonderful, because what I want the audience to understand based on storytelling, right? Because it's about our stories that we experience in life. It's all a journey. And because you experience this challenge of, wait a minute, men are getting all these awards, right? And
hello, we're just as capable.
Exactly. Like, hello, I'm here. Like, I exist. And then we have to pause and take in that challenge and say, instead of, yeah, we can get mad, but we can turn that
energy
into drive to creating something.
Yes, and
change.
That's what happened. Is it drove me to make that change. And I started, as I work with the women, and I said, what do you want to do? Let me help you get there, because you and I are going to have to help all the other women that are around us to get to a better spot if we all are anxious to get promoted and being heard. And it became a collaboration among women, where it's like, how are we going to work together to make a difference? And it was the inequality that was the to start, in working and see that other women don't help other women, right? And you have to be the one that very the
Sometimes what I tend to see, that instead of us fixing our crowns or helping and supporting us and boosting each other up, we tend to kind of like bump each other, move out of the way, I'm coming. And it could be a struggle with women as to that it becomes competition. And I love Robbie Motter. If you're listening, Robbie, I love you. And I'm going to be seeing her in April. So I'm seeing her very soon. I was ready to say something. So, anyways, Robbie says, we don't compete, we complete.
Yes, I love that saying. And it's true, right? Because we all have different gifts, and we are, when we're brought together, it's never an accident, right? So just the fact that you and I met many years ago, it's not an accident. Here we are making a difference with women through summits, through books. It's not about competition. It is about completion and collaboration. So I love that saying.
I love it.
It's very
and
inspiring.
You wrote a book.
I brought a book.
So tell us about your book.
So this is my book, Catherine's Quest: One Woman's Journey to Elation. And this is a book about self-leadership and mindful leadership, which has made a significant difference in my life. And so it's a story that envelops self-leadership principles that a woman can take and run with. It's a story that also includes practical exercises, questions that you can sit back and just kind of take in and see how you can step into being a stronger leader by leading yourself, because really that's where it starts. Self leadership allows you to be a better leader on the outside. And so this is what this book is about. It's a bestseller. It's available on Amazon. And so, yes, it's a great read, and I invite you to buy a book and leave a review. And I'll read certain
Yes, go
experts of
ahead.
this meeting. So one of the things about mindful leadership, and mindful leadership is about being self-aware of who you are, what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your heart, what's going on in the environment, your thoughts, your emotions, so that when you come to the table or you're in an environment, you know what's going on within you, so that you can be a better leader when you have someone across the table and you're having a conversation. And one of the things that as you step into that, then your conversations with someone else become very present, where you're really paying attention to the person that you're speaking to. You're noticing all their body language, you're making eye contact, you're listening to what they're saying, and you're not thinking about what the next thing you're going to say. So it's about being aware and being fully present and having compassion. So in self-leadership, this book will cover, it talks about allowing yourself to just be in the moment and allow to yourself to be guided. You're a very intuitive person. I'm a very intuitive person. And we as women have a really strong sense of intuition. And if we trust that intuition, we can get guided by that intuition. So in my book, on page 16, a hummingbird has no expectations of what her life is supposed to look like. She wakes up every morning naturally and lives by rhythm. She has no obligations to fill. She can be whoever she wants to be. She lives fully in the present. She knows no other way. She carries no baggage of yesterday and no worries about her tomorrows. Her day is an empty canvas, and she allows all of her senses to paint the picture of what is. So imagine if you lived each day like this, that you were an empty canvas, and you went in and you allowed the flow, and you allowed yourself to receive instead of chasing. And you allowed to tap into your intuition and have it give you the yes and the no's of the questions that you have, so that you are in flow and you are not pushing or chasing. You're just being, and you're opening to opportunities.
I love it. This morning we had a group of ladies and we were doing meditation. And that was the conversation that we were talking about, specifically about being that blank canvas. In fact, not being, but getting to that blank canvas through meditation. Because a lot of times we have so many thoughts, so many desires. We're living in the future.
Yes.
Like all the time we're living in the future, or we're living in the past. Like, oh, this, and then we're the victim because of all these things that happened. So if we're not in the past, we're in the future. So being so present in this moment, like the now,
like right now, girlfriend,
like now, you and I, just enjoying and embracing the moment,
yes,
of our conversation, and being able to listen and going back and forth with the being of here, is the beauty. Because this instant just goes by like this, like in a snap, right? And yet, the only thing we have control of, that I was talking to these beautiful ladies, was our mind, right? Because if we cannot control our mind and our thoughts, then we can't control anybody else. And sometimes we get so upset at the world and we get so upset at people, but we cannot control anyone but our own being.
Yes,
right? And it's getting to that blank slate or that blank canvas where we can create who we want to be, and then who we want around us as well. Because if we're not happy with the people around us and we're miserable, then it's time to let go of people, right?
It is. It's so true, because we attract who we are, right? You've heard that saying that you are you are the sum of the 5 people you hang around with, and you want to think, take a moment and think back. Like, who are the people that you hang around with? Are they movers and shakers? Are they healthy? Are they wealthy? Are they well connected? And it's important to really take time to sit back and look at that and say, what does my circle look like right now? And is this circle of women that I hang around with, do they elevate me to the next level? And if they don't, maybe it's time to let go of some of those relationships, right? And it's hard. It is hard. But like you said, through networking, you end up making the connections. And it could be with women that you say, you know what, I want to be like Dr. B. I want to be like Pat. I want to be like whoever. And you see something about them that gives you energy, that's inspiring, that drives you. Those are the women that you want in your circle.
Absolutely. And there's people that we lead,
Yes.
and people we choose to be around.
Yes.
Because we're leading them. But then there's some that we choose to be led by.
Yes. Following is important too, right?
Being able to follow, and mentorship, right? Following like our mentors. Like everybody needs a mentor.
Everybody needs a mentor. Yeah.
Everybody needs a mentor because everybody is at a level in their lives, and then there's that next level we want to get to.
Yeah.
That either we're fearful of getting there, or we don't know how to get
there. And really it comes, I have multiple mentors. So it's important to have multiple mentors, because if you want to be a leader, then you want to mentor with someone whose leadership capabilities you really love. If you want to be a technical expert, then you find yourself a mentor that has a technical skill that you're looking for. So it's important to have a number of mentors in order to get you to that next level. And if you don't have one now, I am asking you to go find one, because it is so critical to your success to have a mentor in a professional life and or in your business, for sure.
Everybody needs one. So kind of like whenever you get a little bit and you're feeling stuck, figure out, is it fear? Is it doubt, uncertainty? Are those the emotions that are holding you back? Or is it a capability? Is it a skill? What is it that you to the next level? And then start looking for the mentors. Like you said, I have several mentors, in the finance and the emotional part, where when I get stuck, I need my mentor, my friend, my accountability partner, where I call her and I'm like, hey, I am going through chaos.
Yes, exactly.
And then we have breakthroughs of beliefs and emotions and stuff. So everyone needs one. So if you're feeling stuck, if you feel that you're not where you want to be, then even if you're a leader, it doesn't matter if you're a leader, then you also need a mentor, and so that you can get to that next level. So tell people, how do you help them, and how can you help them?
Right. So I help women, whether they're in the technical field, whether in management or a professional, to really get clarity of what it is that they want in their lives. Because one of the things that I find is women don't know what they want. It's so true. And I help them get clarity on what it is they want, and then develop a plan along with dealing with the emotions and the beliefs that are going to hold them back as they're trying to do step by step of the plan that achieves the dreams that they want. And like you say, it's about looking at the beliefs, which beliefs aren't working for you anymore. I talked to them about morning routines. Do you have a morning routine in the morning that inspires you, that gets your energy going, that focuses you on what's important? And it's also, do you know your values? So I work with women and I help them get clear on what their values are, so that they're making their decisions from their beliefs and their values, and with a level of clarity that they know where they're going and they know what it takes to get there.
Now, did you know that you make decisions based on values? It's really important that you stop and you reflect on what is important. What do you value? Because at the unconscious level, we are constantly making decisions on those values. And then in what hierarchy are you putting those values?
Yes.
It's also important to be able to reflect and say, oh my goodness, like if you, let's say that you find your family like really important, and then people want to make money. Well, sometimes we have money and our value system and family members, like they are in the wrong place. So then sometimes we're not giving them the attention that they want. We want to make all this money, we're making it, and yet our family priorities are probably at the bottom. They're in their value systems, they're important, but they're not in the right category or hierarchy.
I agree.
So
Yeah, it's important, and it's when you have opportunities that come your way, it's important to ask yourself, how does this align with my values? So sometimes we want to say yes to everything that comes our way, but you got to be able to step back and say, does this align with my values? Or is it in conflict with my values? Is it something that I would say yes to that would get me to the next step? Because sometimes we don't know how to say no, right? Women don't know how to say no. They'll say everything, they'll say yes to everything that comes their way, and now they're overwhelmed. And I've been there. I for many years, I didn't know how to say no because I was afraid of how I would be perceived if I said no. Oh, Pat's not a team player. And, and I've had experience where I was basically a doormat because I didn't know how to say no until I was so overwhelmed and I was under stress because I was saying yes to everybody else except me. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a problem.
Yeah.
So now the other question or the other thought that you said was that a lot of women need clarity, right, as to what they want. But a lot of women or men also, what happens is that we know what we don't want and we're focused on the wrong thing.
I agree with you on that. And sometimes knowing what you don't want makes it easy to say yes to what you do want. For example, we're going to business and we go into business because we want financial freedom, and we start working and running ourselves down, and we tell ourselves, I went into business to have this freedom so I could do all the things that I want. And what I don't want is I don't want to be working every day, 12 hours a day. And so the question would be, Angelica, so how many hours do you want to work? Right? What do you want to work? If you don't want to work 12 hours a day, what's acceptable for you? Well, women will say, I really want to be able just to work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay. Then now we're getting clearer, right? This way you're not overwhelmed. You're saying yes to the things that align with you. And one of your values is that you do only work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So it's getting to that clarity. And sometimes it is, you start with, this is what I don't want. And the opposite of that would be, I want peace. I don't want to be stressed anymore. I want time to myself instead of giving everybody else their time and not having any time to me. And then you start showing up in illness and disease. So, one of the exercises that I invite women to do is every day ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want? The practice of asking yourself, what do I want? What do I want? And as you do that, you'll start getting clarity on the things that are important and what you want to do. So that's a very important question to ask yourself on a daily basis is, what do I want?
I love that question. Yeah. You need to ask that. And the other thing is and we have to talk about it because we both have experienced the dis-ease, right? And because of it, I think I've dared to be me in a bigger way now, right? Because I've experienced. Is it okay that we?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
We both have had cancer.
Yep.
And I know that I experienced it for about 7 long years. They were like the longest years in my life. But because of it, I've dared to be me. And now, I mean, people do ask me things and I do align it with with my mission. And I mean, they ask me, do you want to do this? And when I do want to do what they're asking me, I say yes, because I'm trying to live bigger and experience life more in a bigger way.
Yeah, I agree. I am just completing my cancer journey, and this is my second bout with cancer. So 26 years ago, I discovered cancer. I was diagnosed with cancer, and then last year I was diagnosed with cancer. And the biggest lesson for me has been that I control the narrative.
love it.
The first time I gave all my power to the doctors, and I did, you tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll just really ignore your own personal feelings about what you think, what you feel, and what's resonating and what's not resonating, because you turn over your own more. You don't know more when it comes to your own personal health. And so this time, I said, I'm controlling the narrative and I get to choose my healing journey. And if there's something that doesn't resonate regarding my health, my healing plan, I'm going to say no to it. And I did do that several times. I said, no, I'm not in for 5 years be back into menopause. I said, I'm not going to do that. That's not a quality of life that I want to experience. And so I started pushing back, and my chemo was very hard. I got very, very sick, and I was scheduled for 6 sessions. And I told the doctor after the third one, I said, I can't do this anymore. I said, this is killing me. I have one treatment and I'm sick for 11 days. I can't do that anymore. And so they cut the treatments back. And I went beyond just the traditional. I said, okay, traditional medicine has its place in my health plan, but there are other ways for me to heal. So I started to learn to heal myself through sound and through being with an Ayurvedic specialist and through acupuncture and changing my food. And I said, my healing, I took total responsibility for it. And I said, yeah, medical doctors, you get this part of it, and I control the rest. And so that's my whole journey was totally different when I decided to take control of my own narrative and write my own story when it comes to the healing of my journey on healing from cancer. Yeah,
Exactly. And that's what happened with me. Like, I did a Western medicine, but I did alternative, and I tried all crazy things, like anything and everything.
Yep.
And even my oncologist, I even tried the cold caps.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, they were freezing caps, so I wouldn't lose my hair. I lost it though. I did lose it, but I tried it. I tried it, and I was there freezing. I had a warm electrical blanket because I was freezing with the cap. And then she comes in, she's like, now what are you doing? And I have all these pictures and all these moments. But you know what? I was looking and doing my own research.
Absolutely.
And trying things and figuring out, they probably worked for somebody else. So guys, if it might work for you, but it didn't work for me, so I don't want to put that in your belief, the caps, about the cold caps. And I tried as much as I could, but my hair was just not, and it wasn't there. So I tried the other thing. I tried what's her name, she's a judge from Colombia or somebody, Casos Cerrados. Have you heard that?
No.
It's like ¿quién es la de Casos Cerrados? Es una juez. ¿De dónde es? De Cuba. Es de Cuba. That's true. It's de Cuba. And she was saying like that she tried these little insects, and I was like, what? And my sister's like, I got them for you. You're gonna try them. I'm like, I can't do that. And she's like, no. So she'd put them in capsules. So I tried all these crazy weird things, believe me. But it was taking your own power.
Yes.
La doctora ¿qué? Polo, sí, la doctora Polo de los Casos Cerrados. So I honor her, and I tried it. But I don't know if it worked. I don't know. What I do know that helped me, that I went to Peru and I did this crazy hike for 5 days. I came back after the hike, and then my oncologist said, what did you do? And I said, nothing, because I didn't see it. I didn't do it for that purpose. And she's like, well, you did something, because all your lab work was like excellent. So at the end, I told her, oh, I went to Peru for a hike, which I'm never going to do because I almost died up there. And she said that her scientific mind said, well, because you couldn't breathe, your body created a lot of hemoglobins, which your hemoglobins created a lot of oxygen, which really got rid of.
Yes, the cancer.
cancer.
Okay, yeah.
So she's like, you
And
should
date
go.
yourself with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's like, you need to go hiking a lot. And I was like, I don't know about that. But anyways, that was like a really crazy hike, which was gorgeous, beautiful,
Yes, but
but
it's
it's
amazing.
amazing. And I did it because my son was gonna propose to his wife. But it's the thing that what I'm trying to get across with those that are listening is that you never give up no matter what is happening.
Mhm.
The message
Yeah.
would be that whether they sound crazy or not, whether they're safe or you find them to be safe for yourself, and you're not harming anybody else, then go try it.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to be open, right? You have to be open
Mhm.
because Western medicine only knows science and they don't know anything beyond science. And there are other solutions that are out there. And if you're open and take control over your healing, you never know what's that one thing, that one conversation, that one alternative medicine that really cleared what's happening. Because at the end of the day, the emotion behind breast cancer is overgiving. Is overgiving, according to Louise Hayes, Dr. Louise Hayes. And you have to really take a look within, right? So you and I, it's just not only cleaning the outside and taking the medicine, but it's what within us did we embrace that did not align and resulted in this physical manifestation of breast cancer. And so what I learned is that I was lacking in self-care, is that I was giving to everybody else first and putting myself last and the last on the list. And I have finished all that. More often doing something for my self care every day, and we change. It's a significant change. So will bring forth to you a different path and that you need to take. So it's a wake up. It's a wake up.
I mean, something that I mean opened up a lot of doors for me,
Yeah.
and almost at the same time with me coming out of being sick, then COVID happened, and then it just opened up the connections, like international connections.
That's awesome.
And it's been so amazing to meet so many people around the world and being connected and learning about culture, foods, uh, traditions, and then stepping out of my comfort zone and being in somebody else's culture and adapting to it while I'm there.
Yeah.
It's
It's amazing.
difficult, but then it's been fun.
It broadens you, doesn't it?
It has.
It deepens
It's
you and
like,
it broadens
wow.
you anytime you immerse yourself in another culture and you choose to embrace it.
Yeah. So it's a good thing. So really what we're trying to share, and the message would be, I guess, would be that change is good.
And lead yourself.
Yes.
You have to lead yourself mindfully through your life,
There you go.
through whatever circumstance, whether it's professional, whether it's business, whether it's health or family. You need to learn how to mindfully lead yourself and lead and live a mindful life, which is purposeful, which is being present, which is aligning with your values. So mindful living, mindful leadership. Absolutely.
Yeah. And a lot of times as leaders, we're always thinking of leading other people, and it's not so much all the time leading other people. It's being able to lead yourself to new habits,
Yes.
to new opportunities, to new ways of doing things.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think that journey of self-discovery is powerful.
It is powerful, and it's really the foundation of your success. So those of you that have businesses, your business will grow to the extent that you do. And so that means self-discovery, that means professional development, that means getting yourself a mentor, trying new things, knowing your values. All of that matters in becoming a strong leader and being able to lead others from that space.
Exactly. So what's your next step that you're planning on doing or exploring?
So for professional development, I'm going to the conference that you're putting together in Merida.
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
Yes.
So immersing myself in a different country. I haven't been to Mexico in a long time, and really growing my international community. That's really important. You taught me that from the summit and all the international women that Dr. B brought to the summit. I was floored by the women that were there from all over the world, and I'm like, I want that. I want that in an international network and being around women from all over the world.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. What she's talking about, I had the WOW Summit, I think is 3 weeks ago. We had the WOW Summit with women from all over the world. And then tomorrow we're going to have the WOW VIP Mastermind. And it's very few, very selected people that are going to be joining. And we're going to dive deep into humanitarian, like taking your mission to a movement, to really impacting, and not only impacting, but making money. Because one of the things that I have found and I've discovered in talking to a lot of women who have charity work and nonprofit, their thing is, well, we're not bringing enough money. We're not making enough money. And I'm like, okay, we have to find and discover how to really begin to make more money. Because the more we make, the more we give.
Absolutely.
The more we give.
And I'm excited about that. I'm part of the mastermind also. And so, yes, I'm going to the conference and expanding, my network. And one of the other things that I am ventured to, and this is totally new, is I'm learning pottery. I am learning pottery. So I've decided to invest in something new, something artistic. And I am taking pottery classes, and I will tell you, I absolutely love it.
Wow, you should have brought one.
Yeah,
I can see it.
yeah, really, I should have done that. But I'll tell you one thing is that stepping into pottery allowed me to be a student again, and giving myself permission to be imperfect, and to allow people around me to really teach me and guide me on what it is to do some amazing pottery. So I thought I was doing it just for fun, but it's been a self-discovery, and I have grown so much as a person just stepping into pottery. And my goal with the pottery is to actually have a line of pottery that contributes to nonprofit organization that support women with breast cancer. So that at the end of the day is where I'm going with that.
That's wonderful. I love it. And you know what? It's like tapping into a different skill or to something where it kind of, because I always say that we're diamonds. Yeah. We're diamonds, unpolished diamonds. And sometimes even if we're polished, we need to be polished constantly, right? And when you're learning a new skill, it's like refining that diamond again. And one of the things I did was learning how to dance bachata and salsa. Like I really got deep.
Girlfriend.
Last year, the year before, like I went crazy almost every day. Like I was like dancing almost every day and going crazy. So it was just a different thing. But it was a good thing, because I wanted to tap into my inner sensuality, my inner beauty, and that brought it out. I think so. Te sientas acá. Now we have a new guest, so I can look at both of you. Siéntate acá. Yay!
Hey, hi. Buenas.
Hi. See,
hello.
So can you see both of us? Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, Pat, this is Gabe.
Hi, Gabe. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you personally.
Nice to meet you in person. So I'm so excited because I love bringing entrepreneurs, business owners, and leaders into PowerTalk when Spanish is Facturando Tu Historia. Is it okay we continue Spanish or you want to go in English?
Whatever you guys are in.
We were in English.
I will blend in.
All right. I love that.
Yeah. So I love bringing entrepreneurs because in this show, I was telling everybody, this is Radio Metroplex. We are in the city of Arlington, Texas, which is the capital of sports, events, and entertainment. So yay!
Yes. Yes.
That's right.
The place to come, right?
This is the place
This
to
is the place to be.
especially every Friday at 5 p.m. Central. We are here. We are a place where we tell stories. We tell people where we've come
Sure.
from and why we do what we do. And she was sharing her leadership and her business and her coaching and expertise and leading with intentionality.
Yep.
So that was beautiful. So now introduce yourself, tell people
Sure.
who you are and what you do.
Okay, yeah. So my name is Gabe Bautista, and I am Colombian of origin, born and raised in Colombia. I've been here for around 20 years, a little bit more than that. So I'm maybe half and half, maybe even more from here than from there. But as most immigrants, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with this, it's almost like we're not really from there, but we're not really from here, right? We're it's somewhere in between, right?
I know.
And so but I think that's enriching
Very.
as a human. Your enriches your experience, enriches your perspective.
Mhm.
So it's we started with like many immigrants with nothing, selling essentially house cleaning door to door with my mother. So I was the one that had the better English, which wasn't much. It was slightly above. I knew orange juice. I knew that. So anyway, so I was essentially, hey, you got to go. And so we were literally knocking on people's doors that they were my classmates, and we were knocking in their doors saying, hey, clean your house. Yes, and they were like, oh, I'm in class with you, and I was like, oh no, please, no, and as a 14-year-old kid, that's very important. That's very important, right?
Yeah.
My prom night, I was working the drive-through in McDonald's, and the guys, my classmates were in the drive-through in convertibles with the pretty cheerleaders, and I'm sitting there with my hat, and and it's like, oh, look at that, Gabe has to work tonight, but we did what we had to do to move ahead and to do what take care of business. And so that's kind of my beginning story. Eventually, I find my way to business through essentially I was a music teacher for a long time. I actually went to school for music, and so I have degrees in composition, and that's kind of a previous life. And so but as a teacher at a music school, I tell my boss, hey, you need somebody to help you with the admin, with the marketing, and I was reading books and I was doing all that, and so she said, okay, what do you got in mind? Oh, I can come in the mornings, I can do that, prepare. I wrote the teacher's manual. I mean, I was so that they were officially my first consulting client. And then after that, I went on my own, doing marketing things, digital, a lot of digital transformations for companies. And so fast forward to now, I consult. My largest client is have $1 billion company. Publicly traded, and they're paying for my time and my attention. And then I have other smaller clients, and then of course I'm an entrepreneur on the side. I produced the Dallas Colombian Festival here, which is the largest Colombian festival in North Texas. Right, we almost had 6,000 people last year.
That is awesome.
And so that's that's one of my projects. Wrote a couple books. Again, I have a spoon in lots of soups, and so I'm happy about that. I was always a kid who always complained to the adults, saying, "I'm bored, Mom. I'm bored. I'm bored." and so my mom shows up. My mom shows up at my apartment, and I have all the huge library, all the post-it notes everywhere. I got stuff, and she looks around. She says, "You're not bored anymore, are you?" And I'm like, no, not anymore. So essentially, that's been my life in a little bit, and so thank you for inviting me, and we're here to share stories, as you say.
And you know what, Gabe, I love that you're saying about the wearing the different hats. And as entrepreneurs, that's what we do.
Right.
We have several capabilities and abilities to even run businesses and help people in a variety of ways, yet with one core mission, right? And I remember that I was going to college when I first went to college, and they were like, what do you want to be? And I give them a list of everything I wanted to be, and they're like, Oh, honey, you have to go home, and when you're ready, come back because you don't know what you want.
Right.
I knew what I wanted, and guess what? I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
I have a radio show. I'm a publisher. I work with women. Like I do everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes I want to go back to those teachers and say hello.
Right, right. Yeah.
You know, because and I applaud you.
Yeah,
We do have to
amazing.
understand that nobody, not everybody has this disease that we call entrepreneurship, right? That we just, we're jumping around, we're doing all this stuff. Most people really benefit from a path, from okay, here's level one,
Mhm.
and here's the roadmap, and you start in here and you end up here,
Yeah.
and that's valuable. And there's nothing wrong with that. And as a matter of fact,
No.
a lot of people working for me are that type,
Mhm.
and they depend on me to draw them that roadmap, right? But when you have that bug, when you have that that disease that I'm sure there's no vaccine for it, right?
None.
And you're born with it. I don't think they have identified the gene yet, but but it's there, and we know it's there. Then the best thing you can do is run with it, right? You can't if you cut yourself off from it, that will have consequences.
Yes, it will.
Don't
Yeah.
and so it is a disease, no doubt about it, and it is tough, especially if you're in the creative arts, and I deal with a lot of those. One of my side projects is a salsa band, Fusion Latina, is one of the premier bands here in Dallas, and we do the accompaniments for all the salsa greats that come to
Oh,
town.
Oh,
We're
that's
the-
exciting. I want to know more about
and-
that.
Yeah.
and so I deal with a lot of musicians, and again, being a musician, former musician myself, of course, you guys go to my social media, I'm still playing piano in my social media and stuff. 'Cause
Wow.
that's and you can't cut that off. A lot of people that say, "Well, Gabe, how do I get into business? How do I do more?" Because I'm looking to monetize the things that I'm doing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I always tell people, but don't cut your creative part off, right? It's like your arm. If you cut it off, you're gonna bleed out. Don't do that, right? You have to find a way to integrate that, and that's the big challenge, to integrate that into a productive life that also monetizes that and that sustains you, and who knows, even might even change the world, because they can.
Right. And I love what you're talking about, because what you're saying is embrace all of who you are.
Yes.
And even though somebody will tell you, can you just pick one thing
Right,
and just
right,
focus on that one
right,
thing?
right.
Well, that's not who I am.
Right.
And
No.
so that's not who you are. Most entrepreneurs are not like
Right.
that, right? They
Mhm.
have their hands in a lot of things. And I like your story of saying, embrace all of who you are, because there is room for all of who you are in what you're doing.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
And there's certainly strategies and tactics to make the most of those things,
That's
right?
true.
And
Mhm.
so in my first book, which I have right there, it's only in
Mhm.
English, but the first book is called "Most Businesses Fail in the First 5 Minutes."
I love it.
And the-
Show it to the
Yeah, show the
guy.
and it just takes them 3 to 5 years to realize it. Right?
Yeah.
That's it, right? This book is really all about positioning, the concept of positioning,
Mhm.
right? That while as entrepreneurs, as creative people, we want to do all these things. We want to make sure that our message, or the position that we are choosing the market, at least per brand, is clear.
Yes.
Even though we're
Yes.
doing many things,
That's
because
right.
we can confuse people, right?
Mhm.
I'm not dating at the moment, but every time that I've ever had any kind of relationship, it's always like, at some point she asks, okay, so where's the money coming from, right? And I'm like, okay, let's talk about that. And at some point, I say, well, I'm an entrepreneur, I have these projects, and okay. And then if we get to know each other a little bit more, she goes, well, what do you mean? Talk to me about those projects, right? Because it's just, again, most people are used to, well, I have this job, I wake up, I go to the office, then I come back,
Mhm.
and he's Bob, he's my boss, and I report to him, and then there's nothing wrong with that lifestyle, right? But that's not my lifestyle, right? I have all these, and so if people, I don't pretend for them to understand this crazy world. So the best thing to do is, let's focus on one thing. I've again, I'm involved in 5 or 6 businesses at the moment, and so I say, okay, well, if they interview me, I can talk about all the different things, but maybe I could talk about one thing.
Mhm.
And so I choose the Colombian Festival. So everybody is watching me right now. They go, "Oh, that's Gabe from the Colombian Festival." Got it, right? And so I focus, even though I have all these kinds of things. And so the position and lesson for the audience and for all of us is that is the Procter and Gamble um, strategy. I don't even know what Procter and Gamble is, but they know Tide, right?
Yeah.
They know all the different brands, and they understand that it can't be Procter and Gamble toilet, Procter and Gamble toothpaste, Procter and Gamble. No, they don't do that because they know it's going to confuse people. They choose a brand and they do all the things around it, and that's positioning. Positioning is the strategy that makes branding work, right? That everything that it's in the mind of somebody. If you're trying to put me in a little square in your head, right? And the little square says, okay, Gabe Bautista, and then you ask me, what should I put in that little square? That's what people are wondering.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way we can organize information.
Right.
We're bombarded with information, so it's got to be clear. And stuff going on. Of course I do, but you are not going to do a full report on all the stuff.
You can't overwhelm people with everything you're doing.
So you just limit it to that, and then maybe you have other people, and they go, well, Gabe, I didn't know you played the piano, right? Because again, I have all this stuff going on, and it becomes cool once they get to know you. Then they will invest the time to know more about the other things that you do. But when you introduce yourself, don't make the mistake to say, well, my name is, and I also, pretty soon they go, oh man, this person is just,
he doesn't know what he's doing.
Exactly. As opposed to,
Pobrecito, they say.
as a matter of fact, in my bag, I have several business cards for all the different things, and it's almost like I get to pick and choose. I'll give you this one, and they go, what do you mean this one? Yeah, don't worry about those other ones. Don't worry about that. So
exactly.
Yeah,
One of the things that I did, and I had one of my mentors. We were talking about everybody needs a mentor when they want to expand to the next level, and one of my mentors was Forbes Riley.
Yeah,
and it was the pitch.
Lady.
She's known for the pitch. Like, what is your pitch in 60 seconds? What is it?
Right.
So we came up with Dr. B, the ultimate legacy builder. So anytime, anywhere I go, I'm the ultimate legacy builder. Yes. Anything I do leads people to leaving a legacy, right? And marking their world with the present. No matter, like this show, we're marking our presence in the world because you're telling your stories. So anything I do, it's around the legacy.
Yes.
So I love meeting people, but like both of you, because I feel normal.
Right. It's true.
I feel normal.
It's true.
And then one of the things that I really want to do that I'm working on, it's one of the projects, it's the educational luminaries, which is we're revolutionizing. We want to revolutionize the educational system to help kids who are entrepreneurs find, or students to find their field that is not even taught in the high school, because there's a lot of careers out there or businesses that are undiscovered. I want to find the right word. But they're undiscovered.
Maybe the word that you might be looking for is games. There's multiple games that can be played. There's multiple games that have not yet been created.
That's true.
They have.
And so, there's nothing wrong with getting really good and learning to get a game really well. You could be a chess master, right? You didn't invent chess, no, but you play really well. And anybody who's been in sports, and again, we're in the city of sports, so there's a lot of games here, and we have very talented athletes that spend their lives learning to play that game. Well, that's one way of developing yourself in the world. But there is an alternative way. And an alternative way is creating a brand new game that nobody's ever seen before. And the game is not just a sport. It's a business model. It's what is the next thing after Google? And we're seeing some of the developments in generative AI.
Exactly.
And so it's not that the next Google is going to be a better Google, but it's going to be something that nobody's ever seen before. And then after go back, well, that's the point. That it hasn't been created yet. So I think it's a very interesting point that you bring, and I'm very close in my heart to. I still, in my consulting, essentially, I'm a teacher of people, of parts of companies, of divisions, of teams, and so I basically show them, okay, so here's a framework. And here are the steps. Here's step 1. Here's step 2, and we're going to implement each at a time. And they go, wow, we're learning so much. It's like you're a teacher. I'm thinking, well, of course I'm a teacher. So it's a different teaching capacity. But because we are the educational system is slower to change,
No, yeah.
Very
right?
slow.
It's usually the educational system is the last thing that changes. It's usually the last. We still have an educational system for 1950,
Yes.
Yeah.
even though we're in 2024,
I agree.
Exactly.
I
and
agree.
and so we need to figure out how do we impact that, so that we show people that all these things they learn are important, no doubt. Only thing,
Yeah.
there are things that are undiscoverable,
Yes.
and there are things yet you can contribute as a young person to discover that only you can see. Right, that's the essence of creativity. One of my favorite definitions of creativity, which is how do you see what everybody sees and yet see something different. That's the key, right? Because it's not just, well, I have ideas. Well, everybody can have ideas,
Yeah.
but the point is, do you see something that nobody's seen? And then when you see that, it goes, well, duh, yeah, but what did, and that's one of my favorite definitions of genius, which is when you see genius, when somebody does something and you think to yourself, what did I think of that?
Yeah.
Right? That is
Something,
genius.
yeah.
For sure.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you know,
Moves
one of the
forward.
things that I do with my family, like sometimes I make up words and they're like, that's not a word. And one of the things I do tell them, I said, I have a doctorate, so I can make up any word I want.
Yeah.
Because when I was going to school, they were like, no, you can't. And, the red marks and the whole thing. And then once we graduated as doctorates, they were like, okay, now you're a scholar. You can make up anything and invent anything. But you don't need a doctorate to invent anything.
Right.
Yeah.
You could already invent
Oh, yeah.
anything you desire.
Most people that have invented something
They have
haven't
no
come from
doctorates.
a committee,
Mhm.
haven't come from some kind of straight path, right? And if somebody wants to read something, a book that impacted me a lot, but it's not a book that I recommend to everybody, and I wouldn't think that I would recommend it here, but here it is. It's it's Thomas Kuhn's The Structure of Scientific Revolutions. It's a very interesting book. He was a philosopher and historian of science, and he talks about the two types of sciences that you have. The science that is basically is a mopping operation. You come in, you know what you're doing, you go from one to top to bottom, you know what you're testing, and there's the other science, which is a breakthrough, something that nobody ever thought about before, and you have a crazy guy that thinks, what if space is really curved and not straight? What? Nah, that couldn't be. Well, it turns out it's true, right? But it takes that kind of mind, and he says, and what you need to do is you focus on the anomaly, right? And the reason that Einstein came up with that kind of breakthrough is because, well, if Newtonian physics is all there is, then how come if I'm sitting here and the speed of light is this, and I'm riding a train and the train is going at a certain speed, how come the speed of light doesn't add the speed of the train? Right? That was the big breakthrough, that if I'm standing still and I turn on a light, the light's going to go at a certain speed. But if I'm on a train, it should add, right? But yet it doesn't. It's the same. So that's an anomaly, right? And he focused on that anomaly, and he started, what if things are different than what they are? And as entrepreneurs, many times we see things, we go, why do we have to do it that way? Why don't we do it differently, right?
And what I appreciate about what you're saying is that there's a power in the question.
Absolutely.
There's a power in the question, right?
Maybe even more power.
Even I absolutely
Than in
think
the answer.
It's that it's really about the question that you ask yourself as an entrepreneur,
right?
And the questions that you ask when you're working with your clients that really can really can spark something.
Absolutely.
A whole universe, a whole science,
absolutely.
a whole branch of science.
Just with the quality of the question.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I've noticed as an employee, because I've been an employee, not just an entrepreneur, is the battle of coming up with creativity, things that have not been done. And then your supervisors are like, no, we don't do it that way. But they want change.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, why aren't you
This.
creating change? You're supposed to be creating change, and then you're trying to implement change, and you can't
There's
because you have to
resistance.
do what has been done. And I just don't get that piece. But
Well, again, because in essence, to be fair, to give the devil its due, most change is dangerous, right? Change,
It seems scary.
you don't
right?
necessarily. It does, just because you change things doesn't mean you change them for the better. You can change things for the
Oh,
worse.
yeah.
Oh
right?
yeah, you
Oh,
can.
yeah.
So people go, well, what if something happens? Maybe let's not do anything. Well, but that could be a mistake too,
Mhm.
and that's why those forces are always in conflict, and that's okay that they're in conflict, right?
It's a balance.
And if you have a mature organization, they will balance their need for innovation and the next thing, and also stability, because we can't change everything all the time, right?
Exactly.
And so that's why those two forces are always in play, and a mature manager leader, right? That's why the difference between management and leadership,
Leadership are
right?
different. Oh,
It's
yeah.
right. Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things.
Yes.
And so many times the right thing is to change. We got to change.
Mhm.
And sometimes the right thing is we got to stay the same. We got to stabilize. We got to polish. We got to be better. And who knows what each one is. But that's why it takes a leader to decide. And he could be wrong, or he could be right. And that's what it differentiates probably the good leaders from the not so good.
And you know what? I think the could be right and could be wrong is a leader allows themselves to be able to make mistakes.
Right. You have
It's
to.
like you have to be able to make and as an entrepreneur, we make a lot of mistakes. And as a corporate leader, you have to be able to make mistakes and say, okay, I learned this is one way you don't do it, right? And
Right.
this is one way you do. So being able to make mistakes. And I think the other question you were talking about change is that we all have a creative sense. It's when you have a manager, it should be a leader that gives you permission.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That identifies that potential and
Mhm.
says, how do I give this person the tools, the capability to actually fulfill and execute, implement
Yes.
on this,
Mhm.
and that could change a whole company,
It
right?
Yeah.
And it can, and it does. But when the it wasn't Steve Jobs who thought about the App Store. It wasn't. It was somebody else in the company and said, well, what if we do this? And it was like, okay, well, how would that work? Well, it's basically a walled garden that we can keep, and right now the App Store generates the majority of Apple's revenues, because I mean they sold iPhones to basically as many people as you could sell iPhones to.
Yeah.
So well, what do? Well, all those are delivery systems for software, right?
Yeah.
And so they're charging a little toll in each of these transactions.
yeah.
So that turns out that was a good idea. Turns out, and they could have said, well, no, we're not going to do that. Nobody's ever done it, right?
Yeah,
No,
what if?
that was the
Exactly.
right thing, and it turned out. And I'm sure there are many ideas that are not quite as brilliant, but they also develop. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell us about your festival.
So
I want to know.
the Colombian Festival this year is on July 20th.
Oh, awesome.
It's going to be at Levi Event Plaza in Las
Is
Colinas.
this
Las Colinas, I know where that's
Yeah.
at.
or is that something
Yeah.
different?
Yeah, no, this is it. Yeah,
Oh, let me have
I'll
one.
share.
Yeah.
I'll share a flyer with you and with everybody.
I will be in town.
And so basically, this is the Colombian Festival has been celebrated in some shape or form for the last 25 or so years.
Okay.
But we've basically led the way since about 2017. My business partner Anna, with a company called Uptown Latino, and then we also have a nonprofit in between the two. One is the cultural, and the other one is the kind of promotions, logistics, staffing, all that stuff. And so basically this the festival for the first time falls on July 20th, which is the actual day of Colombian's independence.
Oh.
So that's why it's celebrated
exciting.
always around that date.
Mhm.
But for the first time ever that we've done it, it's on Saturday and it's July 20th.
Okay.
So basically it's a time where lots of Colombians and people who love Colombian culture, they get together. We have tons of Colombian food, Colombian drinks, Colombian music. We have a whole series of authentic cultural displays, and our mission in the nonprofit is to promote, inculcate the Latin American culture for the next generation. That's the
I love
nonprofit.
that.
And
I
so-
love that. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, and the whole thing is it's not just a party, right? It's an experience, and we want it to be an experience for the whole family. We have what we call the three generations, which
Mhm.
we want the kids to hang out with their parents and to hang out with their grandparents,
Right. Yep.
and they're gonna listen to each other's music. They're gonna eat each other's food, and they're gonna have that experience together, right? We want out of their phones and playing and enjoying this festival with us.
I love
And so to do that and to leave kind of a cultural message, it's not a museum, right? It's not, we're not gonna sit there and give them a lecture, a historical lecture, but we will plant the seed of culture by what we call wrapping the broccoli around with bacon, right?
Oh, okay.
So the bacon is, we have Los Diablitos, which is Los Caminos de la Vida no son como yo pensaba, no son como imaginaba, no son como yo creía. That's the band that we're bringing. Plus Mr. Black, which is a big champetero guy from the Caribbean, and we have a couple other surprises that we will be announcing soon. And so that's the bacon. Oh, come, you're gonna. It's a concert. It's fun, but while you're here, we're gonna show you a little bit of culture, a little bit of, and go, wow, we want to be involved in that. So it's our little bait. But yeah, it's a day of a lot of fun. We've been growing a lot. Like I said, last Colombian Festival, almost 6,000 people. We have top brands. Even the Texas Rangers are there as the sponsors. Again, we have lots of different brands and people that are close to us, and we continue to grow with our cultural mission and with this community, which is getting bigger here in North Texas. So we hope that everybody here can make it.
I love it.
That's exciting.
I love it. It's exciting. So
be there or be square.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And we'll announce it when it gets closer to remind you so that
Yes.
you can go to the festival. And then, of course, make sure you post it on my timeline.
Absolutely.
And I'll be more than glad to share it so
Okay.
that
Exciting.
people can go. Now, tell them where people can find you. How can they connect with you?
All right.
Let's start with you.
Yeah, so my website is www.majesticcoachinggroup.com. I'm also on LinkedIn as Majestic Coaching Group and on Facebook. And I welcome you to come and visit. And there are some freebies that are out there. There's actually a freebie for self-care for women. So it's majesticcoachinggroup.com /self-care habits. And for Latinas, and since we are talking about Spanish, so for women, inviting them to take care of themselves, because we talked a lot about the importance of being able to take care of themselves. So that's a free gift to everyone that's listening.
Thank you.
Great,
And
awesome.
you?
And yeah, if you guys want to go to either Facebook or Instagram, look up Dallas Colombian Festival. You'll find all the information there. If you really want to connect with me, send me a message through there. It'll be sure to get to me.
Do you have any events that you do with entrepreneurs or?
I do some things. Generally, I do some advanced group coaching on Wednesdays. That's kind of I don't usually promote that too much. It takes a little bit to get there. But yeah, if anybody wants to really connect with me, then send me a message through the Colombian Festival. And again, I'm taking my own advice and keeping everybody focused on that. And if you really want to do some more research, you're dying of the curiosity, maybe you're gonna pick up a copy of my book. That'd be great. And you can contact me through the social media.
I love it. I love it. So here's the thing. I'm always bringing in interesting people like them to share their stories, to let you know that, yes, we hire that you gain the courage to step into something new and to move forward. And the most important thing, connect every Friday. We're here at 5 p.m. Central. And not only connect with me, but connect with them, because they will also inspire you and help you get to that next level, whatever you are looking for. So thank you again for joining us. And we do a little movement and dancing in this show. I forgot to tell you too. But I love moving and dancing to the rhythms of life. So ahorita movemos. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. This was fun. It's a pleasure. Yeah, look forward to your festival.
Yes, please.
I don't know a lot about the Colombian culture, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, that's the whole point. You're gonna come and you're gonna find out.
Yes.
That's the whole point. Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Good.
awesome. So show them your books.
Books.
Get their
Catherine's
books
Quest.
on Amazon.
On Amazon, Catherine's Quest.
Right.
Buy the book, do a review.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
Do a review.
Reviews.
Important, but not.
We'll work for reviews.
We all work for reviews.
Candace, we're gonna put it up there in the page. So you could just move any way you want.
Where's the music?
What is?
It's gonna come.
Are we,
All right.
are we dancing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love to dance, by the way.
I always tell them to dance to the rhythm of life at the end of
Right.
the show.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the meaning of life. Got it.
I don't need music. I'm hearing it
There
already.
you go. Yeah.
Woo!
Look at
Gee, what is
Look
this?
at this.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. I expected a lot of things out of this interview. I did not expect this.
The dancing.
Look. You got it. Huh? It's bachata.
Yes.
Woo!
1, 2,
Bachata.
3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There you go.
And then for those of you that like bachata and salsa, go to
Right.
Échale Salsita today. We're gonna be there, so join us for a
Be
little
there.
dancing.
Okay.
Or be square.
Man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Adios.
Look.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yes. 1, 2, 3.
Thanks for tuning in to PowerTalk Productions with Dr. B. We hope today's episode inspires you to elevate your business and life. Want more visibility and impact? Advertise your business on our show. We're also looking for guests to share their stories and expertise. For sponsorships or interviews, contact us directly. Let's shine together and make a lasting impact. Thanks for connecting with Dr. B, the ultimate legacy builder. Until next time, dare to be you. Step into your greatness and leave a lasting legacy.